If I had to create adverts that consistently generated qualified leads for law firms, I wouldn't start by asking ChatGPT to write me a high converting marketing strategy. The first thing I would do is research. My name is Radman Brock, and I've made many ads for legal firms, and I've helped some of our clients add an extra £30,000 for the tactics I'm about to share now. The reason we're able to do this isn't because we're lucky. It's because, to be honest, we just go deeper than most people are willing to go. And the mistake that most people make with advertising is that they do the bare minimum. They write a couple of ads, they use generic messaging and use ChatGPT to come up with their whole advertising approach, and they hope for the best. But marketing requires data and insights. Now, let me be clear. AI tools like ChatGPT can absolutely be helpful, but here's the issue. We don't control the data the AI is trained on. We don't know whether that data is fully accurate, especially since it can be off random sites on the internet. We don't know whether it reflects your specific market or whether it represents the type of clients you actually want to attract. So if you rely purely on AI to tell you what your customers want, you're building your marketing message on borrowed assumptions. Instead, we prefer first-hand data, real conversations, real objections, real fears, real motivations. If a client is already generating inquiries, one of the first things we do is we listen to all of their call recordings. We look at the ones who instructed, the ones who didn't, and even the ones who turn out to be difficult to work with. Because inside these calls is definitely the real deal. You hear what people are actually worried about, not what you assume they're worried about. You hear what keeps them up at night, what frustrates them, and what they don't understand, and most importantly, what they're scared of losing. And if that system is not set up, we implement it. Because without proper data, you're definitely guessing, and guessing doesn't scale. We also look beyond the data that the firm gives us. We read articles, go through Reddit threads and forums, we read both positive and negative testimonials, and that gives us a really good insight as to what people complain about when hiring firms like yours. What do they praise and what do they regret? And of course, that information gives you a lot more context as to what actually motivates a customer to take action or not take action. We do this to build a clear picture of two things. Number one, who your ideal client is, and number two, who they are not. Because attracting more leads is easy, but attracting the right leads is sometimes quite hard. And I'm sure everyone has experienced that client who pays the least, but demands the most. The ones who don't pay your time or challenge every step of the process. So your marketing shouldn't attract those people. It should naturally repel the people who you don't want to work with, whilst attracting the people who actually value the expertise that you have and are ready to act on it. Once we've gathered enough data, we build a detailed profile of your ideal customer. What stage are they at? What problems are they facing? Is there urgency? Is there a deadline? Is there financial pressure? Are children involved? Is there reputational risk? What outcomes are they really trying to secure? For example, if we're working with a divorce solicitor, the messaging angles might include finance, children, property, business assets, time pressure, or emotional stability. But even something as broad as finance isn't just one angle. It could relate to their home, their pension, a business they built, overseas property, inheritance, or family money. And each of these concerns carry a different emotional weight. Once we understand the main categories, we normally identify 3 to 5 core messaging angles, and then we select 1 or 2 to test from. And this is honestly where most firms fall short. They create 3 adverts, maybe 5, and then they stop. In the first round of our testing, we will often create 40 to 50 different adverts, different hooks, different emotional triggers, different framings of the same core problem, and each variation is intentional. If we're sticking with the finance angle in divorce, for example, you might have messaging like, are you worried about losing your home in a divorce? Or did your family invest in your property and now it's at risk? Or did you know you may be able to use your pension to offset and keep the house? Or do you own a business and are concerned about how it will be divided? And as you can see, each of these different hooks speak to a slightly different fear, and each of them attract a slightly different type of client. So every hook is based on research, and every variation is designed to isolate what your ideal customer best responds to. And within 5 to 7 days, we normally start bringing in leads. But we don't just look at the cost per lead, we look at what the leads are actually like. Are they qualified? Are they serious? Are they price shopping? And most importantly, are they the type of client you want more of? And once you've identified which winning angles generate the leads that you want more of, we double down. So for example, if the protect your home angle is generating high quality consultations, we create more variations around it, more hooks, more specific examples, and more targeted messaging. And then we increase that budget on those winning angles. That's how we helped one of our divorce solicitor clients hit a 10 times return on their marketing spend within 35 days of working together. And honestly, most people fail in marketing because they just don't test enough. It costs exactly the same to test 10 ads as it does to test one ad, they just don't make the effort. And this is why sometimes when people hire an agency and they don't get the result, it's not because the marketing doesn't work, but it's that the agency may not have the capacity to do all of what I just mentioned. As you can imagine, creating 50 adverts can take quite a long time because not only do you have to come up with the actual ideas, but then you have to also record the adverts and actually create them. And that's a huge investment of time and resources. In essence, the more quality angles you test, the faster you find winning messaging. And once you find messaging that is winning, you can now scale it and it becomes a lot more profitable. It's also important to understand that creating adverts to attract leads is only part of the system. Not everyone who sees your ad is ready to inquire or instruct immediately. Some people need more reassurance, some people need proof, and some people need to see you multiple times before they actually start taking action. So that's why we implement retargeting for most of our clients. If someone clicks on the ad the first time, but they don't inquire, they'll start seeing helpful content from that firm with case studies, educational breakdowns, common mistakes to avoid, and explanations of complex issues that that person is going through and how to solve them. And the main goal here is not to hard sell them, it's to build trust with that person. When someone sees consistently helpful content from your firm, they start to build more familiarity with you. And that of course builds confidence. So when they are ready to act, they're thinking that these people are the best suited to help me with my problem because they had a lot of content educating me that they know how to solve my problem, so I have a lot more trust with them. We also use long form content to build authority, like in-depth educational videos and breakdowns of specific legal scenarios, because this trust also helps to shorten the length of your sales cycle. But we have another video in more detail that goes over how we use that authoritative nurturing and how we use that long form content to actually get more results for our clients, which you can watch over here. Pulling this back to adverts that generate leads, the key takeaway is this. Great adverts don't start by guessing, they start with research. They start with understanding your ideal client better than your competitors do, and they start with identifying not just the problem someone has, but what motivates them to take action. So if you'd like to see how we would approach that for your firm specifically, and what messaging angles we would use to attract your ideal clients while repelling the wrong ones, you can click the link in the description below and book a call with our team. Alternatively, we have many videos on this channel dedicated to how we help law firms get more instructions consistently, so you can feel free to check those out as well.